So now we're switching focus and we're talking about all the triggers that can trigger your stress response cycle that we discussed in the video talking about the nervous system. Again, we're going to go back to the cell phone analogy and we're going to look and identify all the different triggers that can cause your phone's battery to drain. And when we look at a phone, we think about two categories, at least for myself, two categories came up. One is hardware and the other one is software. So let's have a look. On the hardware side, we can have the battery itself. So what does that mean? Well, we've heard of some companies where they're engineering the phone batteries to not hold 100% charge indefinitely. That after a certain period of time, slowly the battery itself is not capable of holding a full charge. Heat and cold can also impact a phone's ability to hold a battery charge or hold to 100% or whatever. Where I live, it can get exceptionally cold in the wintertime. We're talking -20 to -40 degrees Celsius. And there have been times where I've gone outside and I've taken my phone out of my jacket or my pocket or my purse, and I look at my phone and automatically the battery drains to nothing just being in the cold. So these are the things that I am always paying attention to when on a hardware side, when I'm thinking, okay, what could possibly be draining my battery and how can I take action? On the software side, we have certain apps drain our phone's battery faster. Old versions of software, if you haven't updated your phone software. At one point, I don't know if at least the Apple iPhone, certain versions of it would have the parallax effect. I don't know if they still have the parallax effect, but basically your app icons would look like they're moving in relation to the background. So that was draining of the battery. Pulling updates in the background, having your location services on, having a lot of apps open at the same time. All of these things on a software side are going to drain your phone's battery even faster. So, and it's not just simple usage. So, just like with the phone, we start thinking about all the things that we can do to tackle each of these items one at a time. We first have to identify what are the categories of triggers and what are the triggers that we have that will drain our internal battery and drain us of our energy. So, the first thing I want to really highlight is in the videos to come, after I'm done explaining this model, you are likely going to hear things, especially in the first video, that you might not like. Please do not shoot the messenger. I am simply sharing what I've been learning. I am not putting a judgment. I am not saying that you should or shouldn't take action on these triggers. I'm simply sharing with you the impact that these triggers that I'm going to identify have on your nervous system, on your stress response cycle. It is up to you to determine whether or not things are fine as is, or you actually want to make a change. So again, don't shoot the messenger, even if you don't like what I have to say. Now, when it comes to all of these categories, I draw heavily from Dr. Stuart Shanker's work. He's really one of the only people that I've heard talking about things in this way. I've heard a lot also from Dr. Laurie Santos, but really it's Dr. Shanker's work that really made it clear. That being said, I've taken his work and I've changed it, especially since I heard of the medical model's biopsychosocial model, and that really clicked for me, how I could put this in an easier way for me to even comprehend the information for myself. So I took a lot from Dr. Shanker and I put it into the biopsychosocial model from the medical system. So what are the categories exactly? So we have three categories. We have the biological category, the psychological category, and the social category. Bio, psycho, social. From there, I have subcategories. So under the biological category, we have the physical. So what is hitting our bodies and impacting and what's happening in our bodies directly. We also have emotion or emotions. And you're going to wonder, or you're probably already wondering, why has she put this in the biological and not in the psychological? When we get to there and that video, I'll explain further. And then under psychological, we have everything thinking related. And then in the social category, we have social self triggers, and social other triggers. And again, I will explain all of these things in the videos to come. So I invite you to join me as we take a deep dive into all of the different triggers that are triggering our stress response cycle.